there, YouTube buddies. Bob from Oregon's Constant Gardener. Welcome to the OCGFAM Show. It's finally here, the Nectar track episodes. So today, we're going to have two episodes. The first one is not actually the Advanced Nectar track, although there is some interesting Nectar for the Gods information. So, Scott Ostrander, Nectar for the Gods, the president, the main guy over there, we asked him a bunch of your viewer questions, and he answered them. Now, you may notice in the video that Scott's a little, maybe a little saltier than normal. That is because we had to do the thing twice, because I recorded it the first time and realized after we'd recorded two whole videos that didn't have the microphone on. So he was, you know, perturbed, and I was contrite, and everything worked out fine. We did it again. So watch the video. This is the viewer questions, and then I'll see you after.
All right. Good job, doggies.
Hey there, Bob here with Scott Ostrander, Supreme Commander, Nectar for the Gods.
Stop saying that Supreme Commander shit.
We're doing this for the second time because I didn't turn the microphone on. How do you feel about that? We don't need to go into it.
He only has 3 fingers. One of them is clearly higher than the other 2. Right here.
I get it.
Right here, Bob.
I messed up and I'm sorry. That's great.
Right here. Look. Alright, sorry, Jude.
So we had some viewer questions, and I said that you would answer them, so I assume that you will.
Which we did.
Yeah.
But we're going to answer them again.
I really think they're going to be better this time.
They're so compelling the first time.
So Bruce Lee said, what did he say? He said he's doing a flush. He's got 5-gallon smart pots, and he gets it with the measurements of how much stuff you put per gallon, but how much total stuff do you put through the plant to flush it?
It's a tough question only because it's totally different from container to container, medium to medium, soil to soilless. It depends on your environment.
So what are the guidelines to it?
The guidelines are you want to make sure before you flush that your soil is evenly moist. You want to make sure the moisture content in the soil is solid all the way through, because if you do have dry pockets or you've created a dry pocket from poor watering practices, the water is going to run straight through. So it doesn't matter how much you flush if you're not flushing out the medium.
Okay.
So what I encourage people to do is, probe around, check the medium, make sure it's evenly moist. If it's not quite evenly moist, start hydrating it slowly from the top.
Okay.
If it's just not hydrating, throw a wetting agent in there like Hygea's hydration, some kind of yucca.
Get it sticky a little bit.
Yeah, start to draw it into those dry pockets and get that moist before you do your flush.
So the dirt becomes some hydrophobic where it just can't. It's so dry.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of these mediums will, once they become dry, they really don't want to accept the moisture back in. So,
okay.
But once you get your soil moist, or you have a really nice medium that you're continuously maintaining.
So we got there.
What we recommend for a preventative flush, 15 to 20% runoff on that day.
Okay.
Now, if you have an issue with your plant and you're flushing for other reasons, for curative reasons, we recommend doing the slurry test, looking at your numbers, and then adjusting your pH and your ppms to what your numbers are of your slurry.
Okay.
And then, if it's really bad, 1 to 2 flushes at 20 to 30 to 40% runoff. You really need to attack it and correct it. But if it's just a preventative, 15 to 20% per volume of the liquid you're putting in, not of the soil. So
right.
Yeah.
So if you put a gallon, you want to see 50% of that come back out again.
Yeah.
Okay. So this R-Dubs was asked about the schedule. So what he's got going is he got the sample kit, and then he bought a couple extra bottles from his store, or from OCG or whatever, and he needs to know the order to put them in. He said, should he just go with the Roman regimen? And then as an addendum to that, people have said, what's the difference? The order's changed on those charts. So what's the story?
Well, pretty much the order originally was just so we could give you an easy sense of how to mix up the products where they won't react with each other as you're mixing them, or will minimally react during that time frame.
Sure.
So as we have created a couple new products, we put them into the marketplace, we had to adjust those into where they're going to make the most sense in a blend on how to mix them in order.
Okay.
But if you look at the big picture, the first few and the last few are kind of what we're looking at the most important. Zeus is by far the most important, be last, right before Olympus up.
Okay.
And the reason for that is those are going to be your more alkaline products. The more acidic the product, the earlier we begin.
So we're creeping up with our pH level.
Yep, slowly.
Yeah, slowly. Yep. Instead of like going back and forth.
Well, more importantly, blending all our acid stuff together, and then introducing the alkaline stuff. So we're not going acid, alkaline, alkaline. You go back and forth, you just tie up. Where if you blend everything and then just the pH and feed, you're not tying up as much stuff that way.
Okay. So the Roman regimen order is basically the order of how they would go as far as how you would mix them up.
That's what I would do, yeah.
But not so much the order of how you would pick them, but it's kind of like...
It's pretty close, actually,
close,
yeah, because when we change the Roman, there's like one that I think you can knock down a few, and we'll get through those in time. But for the most part, yeah, if you go off of beyond the basics of the Spartan schedule, start looking at the next ones in order, that's kind of what we're going to recommend you to buy new products.
Okay, cool.
Or to enhance your current grow.
Let's see here. Now, hopefully Green is having a problem because his water is high pH, and he said he doesn't have any Hades. Would you use the Hades over to something you can maybe get at his grocery store or something? You have to have Hades to get your pH down.
Nope. Hades is a pretty... I mean, it's not a unique pH down. The only difference is we add multiple organic acids versus just phosphoric acid. So we encourage you not to use just straight phosphoric acid unless it's just a little bit here and there, and only because the microbial field isn't a big fan of that low pH. But if you have acetic acid, citric acid, yucca, liquid yucca, not yucca, excuse me, aloe. A lot of those products, lemon juice, they're going to come in with a low pH and they're not going to harm the product line. So you don't need Hades down, but if you have it, it certainly doesn't.
Couldn't hurt. It's made to work with the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so why not go and get that? What if people have get the sample kit and then, holy moly, I've got high pH water. What can they contact you to get some Hades from you? Sample that too, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, if they want to pay the shipping, but at that point it's
easier just to use something else.
Cheaper to go down to your local grocery store or your pond center and just pick up a low pH product that is for pond and aquatic life.
So while we're talking about it, the Hades is pretty standard, but the Up is unique, correct?
Olympus Up is unique because most are going to be a hydroxide of some form as far as a pH increaser, and usually a potassium hydroxide or things that we're not a big fan of because they do destroy microbes as well. Hydroxides aren't that great if you don't use them correctly.
Sure.
So with the Olympus Up, we're adding a whole nother calcium source to our product line by adding a limestone. And it's a liquid limestone, so it's very unique to our line. It definitely benefits the rest of the line when the pH gets too low. That's bringing it back up so the plant can actually absorb it.
Okay. Let's see what we got else here. Okay, the tingly sensation 6 days ago said, "Hey Bob, I got a question for Scott. Do I need to use a saturator when applying Bloom Chaos as a foliar spray?"
Nope. No.
Why not?
Don't need it.
You want it to absorb in, not to hang out on the thing.
Yeah, so basically, well, I'm not sure, if saturator's a brand or if it's just a name you call it.
It's the wetting agent is what we're thinking it is.
Or a penetrator, because there's a big difference between wetting agent and penetration. So penetrators are going to break the wax barrier, they're going to open up the cuticle, they're going to drive the nutrition into the stomata of the plant, whether it's even on top or bottom. We don't recommend anything being used with Bloom Chaos because we want the active ingredient of Chaos to react to the stomata and make that reaction, or make that draw happen. So if you start adding wetting agents, penetrators, saturators, whatever you want to call them,
muddy in the water,
it could create a barrier for the absorption rate of that Bloom Chaos.
It's gassed up, ready to go.
We want it to, whatever it's going to take, it's going to take. Whatever it doesn't want to take, it's going to shed off and become water in the soil.
Okay.
Now, if you were, we're big fans of, wetting agents, saturators, penetrators for things like bug, pest control, IPM management,
Okay.
Putting something that you want held
to
on
hang out on there,
be there for a period of time, that's what we'd be using those for. But if you have, there's a product out there somebody just recommended, it's a penetrator. It breaks through that top cell. We've never done that. All I can tell you is if you are trying that product with Bloom Chaos, use Bloom Chaos at considerably less strength and make sure you are not overdoing the chaos because you're driving it in so much harder. So start at quarter strength, maybe even half at max. Slowly increase it to see how your penetrator works with our chaos.
Because it could cost chaos.
Well, it could make the name come true. And that's never good.
No. So, okay, and then We Liberator 1 week. 1 week ago is when the message was. That's not part of the name. So Tingly Sensation, not Tingly Sensation 6 days ago, which actually I thought was kind of a cooler name.
Way cooler, because that means that they don't have any boyfriend or girlfriend for the last 6 days.
I've been using Nectar for the Gods for a couple of months. This is, I just said. And okay.
Oh no, this is the guy.
Yeah, have you considered changing the product line of how it's labeled? It's confusing as heck. What's the deal with that, Scott? I don't know what this is. How did that happen? I was too aggressive, wasn't I? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, they're better now than they were. You just had the bottles with the A, B, and C on them, right?
Well, that's it. Is God, we had a whole great spiel when the microphone was dead.
It was great when the microphone is dead. He did a great job with that.
If you should look that up. If you could Google bad microphone, So, yeah, the names and why we're not going to change them again. Because we've changed them 3 times. We went from ABCD to...
Not great names.
But effective. They work. We don't believe in marketing. We don't believe in branding to the extent that this industry is about. We believe the product should be in the bottle and not on it. And last I checked, nobody's... Well, never mind. I'll retract that because people are tattooing this stuff on them now. But at the end of the day... When we went national, the distributors wanted more artwork on our bottles to make it more presentable to the retailers. So we had a contest in the stores. We created this through our customer base. So they came up with the art that they felt met the product's demand or what it does. They created the names for them. We believe in letting our customers do all the marketing for us, because if they believe in it, they get a passion behind it, they're going to be better at drawing these pictures and naming these products.
Sure.
We don't believe in the exact same motto or the what was the term you're looking for, and like this industry just is an NPK and you have to use CalMag, and it's like it's these buzzwords that this industry thrives on is more N, more K, PK booster, CalMag this, CalMag...
Which is a great way to sell stuff, but not a great way to grow stuff.
Well, it's not the best way to grow stuff. And, we let the plants, we let the soil, we let the microbiology, we let the earth kind of dictate what these plants are going to get and when they're going to get it. So to create a CalMag, we don't necessarily believe in CalMag. We believe the plants need magnesium, we know they need calcium, but do they need CalMag?
Are they getting it from that thing, or are they finding it somewhere else?
How can we source it? So... what you see here is literally a culmination of all of the original OG nectar growers who used to be Harvest Moon guys who created this line for the growers. They told us what to make, how to,
And they don't necessarily do a certain thing. They all kind of work together, and you have to modify that for what your particular situation is, I think.
Well, that's it. You throw them a little bit buffet, and then the rest of the product line is dialing in certain dishes of that buffet to make that plant enhance in certain aspects of the plant. So... we know it's confusing. We know that we rely, or a lot of our growers rely on the online community. They really help to explain why they use certain things at certain times. We just made the things that our old school growers wanted us to make so that they could dial in their crops they've been doing for years.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
that was a pretty good answer. Not nearly as good as the one that we didn't record.
No, it was weak compared. The last one was, I think I even wet myself.
I know, I was just like in awe. I was just...
Oh yeah, well I saw you
So thanks for answering all our questions, and hopefully you weren't so annoyed that you won't ever come back again.
Nah, it's questionable.
Well, we'll see what happens. That's that. Okay, so that was fun. It sure was nice of Scott to answer all those questions for us, especially considering he had to do it twice. So that's the episode for now. Another episode coming just a little bit. So thank you. I love you. And I'll see you in just a little bit. For more information about anything on today's show, go to our website, OCGFAM.com. The OCGFAM Show, it's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCGFAM Show. See you in a little bit.